Hey everyone, today I use Solace from Night Watch Soap Company and I talk about wood and light, the Lonely Tower. Stay tuned. Hey, how's it going everybody? John Bonham here, Cape Cod Wet Shaving. History shave time, got a good one for you. Coffee of the day. It's time. Pete's Pumpkin Spice. As soon as I saw this, I bought 3 of them. So I actually have 5 different, I have 3 Pete's Pumpkin blends in 2 different companies, all of them pumpkin. So I'm gonna be all pumpkined out by the time, autumn even starts. That's the way it goes. And I got coconut pineapple bubbly. Was in a coconutty mood. This is a topic about a lighthouse on a beach. One of the rare times where I actually went on location, and it was kind of the reverse. I didn't have the idea and then go to take photos. I actually was there, took some pictures, was hanging out with my kids. It was one of the last things we did for summer vacation, and then it was a lighthouse. And I went online to do some research about it and found out it dated way back when. So I'm like, this is awesome. So decided to do a history shave on it. Oh my gosh. I gotta do a pumpkin spice shave with Sterling. So let me walk you through my software and hardware. I already got this on my face. I'm using Cedar Forest Cremo beard oil for pre-shave oil. And real quick, the scent notes, the soap I'm using, which would be Solace from Night Watch Soap Co., are, what's on there? Bay leaf, fir needle, cedarwood, bergamot, and tobacco. See it up there? So everything I threw together matches well with that. The fir needle, cedar bead oil goes very well with that. And the soap I already showed you. Got the matching alcohol-based aftershave splash. And due to the tobacco, I'm going to be using Tobacco Leaf and Amber from Crown and Crane, one of my absolute favorite scents from Crown and Crane, which is saying a lot. And Thomas and his wife, how you doing, bud? Fellow Southerners, they're from Louisiana. They make a very nice soap. I haven't really seen anyone using this, I don't think. I might have seen it once or twice out in the wild, but this is a really nice one. I love that bay leaf up front. Also, again, works well with the beach environment we got going here. So my software, I'm going to be using the Henson Mild, I don't know, fuchsia, what you call that. Got this from subtleartsoap.com. How you doing, Joe? That's Subtle Art Soap. And the blade in there is the Rex Platinum. This is like the 6th or 7th use of that blade. I'm pushing this thing to its limit. I love those blades. And I'm using my, where is it? Summer Break Soap. What is this called? He names them, Kyle at Summer Break Soap. How you doing, bud? If you happen to see this. He names his brushes after the counties in Nebraska, his home state. And I forget what this one is. I almost said Foster, but that's the last one I got from him. I don't know, I can't remember. But it's purple, orange. Goes very well with the label. And most importantly, most exciting of all, I have this grail. I posted about it. Look at that lather, guys. I posted about this on Instagram, that I got this specifically to use for wet shaving, and I'm going to be using it on camera for the first time. I also got this, which I use to soak my brushes. Thing is awesome. So, all right, look at that lather. Oh, interesting thing, I forget about scent transfer in my brushes. When you use a soap scent that's really strong, and you go to use your brush again with a different soap, I actually had to take this, excuse me, and use dish detergent, a very mild amount of dish detergent in hot water to get the smell of Electric Mayhem from Barrister Man out of there. Just smelled just like plum. So I didn't want to ruin the set. But all right, let's go ahead and get lathering and shaving, guys. So a lot of the photos in this I took. There's also some older photos that I did not take. Excuse me. I'll be sure to try to remember to mention if it was me that took them or not. But I call it wood end I know. And I call it the Lonely Lighthouse because it is. So to get to it, first and foremost, it's on a little spit of land called Long Point. So if you look at a picture of Cape Cod, this is Provincetown, this whole area here, okay? This is more National Seashore. So P-Town isn't here. It's like more like in this area and this right here. So this is Long Point. And right here is a break wall, okay? So you park right here. It's called Pilgrim's Landing. And then you walk across this break wall. And you have Long Point Lighthouse here and Wood End Light right here. And they specifically put this here for a reason, and I'll tell you why, okay? So in November of 1871, the schooner known as William H. Atwood sank with all hands off of Long Point near Provincetown. All right, it was right outside the entrance to Provincetown Harbor, which is what this is. So it was coming about, I believe, like this. Probably came out here and was going around like that and sank with all hands right there. I believe Long Point Light already existed at the time, but it was of no use because they weren't abreast of it yet. So a small day beacon had been built on Wood End in 1864. So there's a day beacon, but no light. And a day beacon is meant more for an aid to navigation, a visual aid to navigation, which we used a lot. If we were at sea, I was a quartermaster, which means I did charts, fixes, literally taking fixes on the chart. And I would we could do different things. We could take land points and then chart the land points, and where they intersected was a rough estimate of where we were. We had GPS and all that, but every 3 minutes I would make a fix on the chart, and you could see the fixes with the time written along where we were going. And we would take spires from churches, a telephone pole. It'd be on the chart too if it was a significant building or a thing on land, and you would make a fix off of it. So it was a day beacon. Anyway, sorry. Since wrecks continued to occur in the area from 1864 on, a lighthouse was built in 1872, right after the Atwood sank, okay? So Wood End Light would be illuminated for the first time on November 20th of 1872, that same year, okay? All right. And another thing I'm going to do is at the end of this video, I'm going to do a quick slideshow of photos I took. My kids and I, we shouldn't have, but we did. We climbed the lighthouse. And all that remains there now is the oil house and the lighthouse. And we went in both. And so a lot of the photos are of the lighthouse, the shape it's in, and then views from the top of it, okay? All right, so realizing the difference that the light was making, the town built a wooden keeper's house along with an oil house and a storage shed in 1896, okay? And that's an old photo of all three buildings. Again, the only thing left are the lighthouse and the oil shed, unfortunately. And it is on the historic registry. You take one look at this thing and know immediately that it was. That's how old it is. However, to this day, to now, there have been over 50 shipwrecks in that area since 1875. In 1899, a sloop and 2 schooners ran aground during the storm and broke up. So that's considered one of the worst things that happened after the Atwood, okay? Was these schooners ran aground. And where the hell is my hook? Uh-oh. That's weird. I'm missing my little plastic hook that I use for my mustache. Oh, nope, there it is. It scared me. Woohoo. I didn't find a lot of info on it, but any of these would have been bad, especially in a storm. All right. The worst disaster in the Provincetown area to occur at sea happened at 3:30 p.m. on December 17th, 1927. All right. Now this was interesting. I didn't know this. And it's pretty cool because it has to do with Coast Guard. One sec, let me try to catch up on the shave here. Doing a lot of talking and lathering, no shaving. Hope everyone's well. Been a busy week. First full week the kids go back to school. Well, mostly full, 4 days. They were off Monday. But yesterday was the first day they came home with homework, which they were not happy about. I remember that feeling, the poor kiddos. You're only young once, you know, and you just got all this stuff you got to do. It sucks. I personally think kids should get a lot more time off for summer. Because again, you're only kids one time, you know. But we've looked into homeschooling, but we're in a good area with good schools, luckily. So we'd rather they go and get the social skills, you know what I mean? Oh, well, though, they're back into it. I told them you'd get used to it before you even realized it or even wanted to, and they did. Humans are resilient, even kids. Kids are far more resilient than they get credit for, in my opinion. Okay, so worst disaster in P-Town, 3:30 p.m. December 17th, 1927. All right, so the 𝘚𝘰𝘭𝘢𝘤𝘦, excuse me, a U.S. Navy destroyer assisting the Coast Guard in its patrols searching for prohibition booze runners. Was assisting, there we go. So the 𝘚𝘰𝘭𝘢𝘤𝘦 was a U.S. Navy destroyer. And they're teaming up with the Coast Guard to search for, to interdict rum runners. Now, an interesting fact, and I didn't know this until I myself was in. If the Navy assists the Coast Guard, the Navy has to fly the Coast Guard ensign because we actually have the jurisdiction. Pretty badass, which makes sense. So if you see the Navy and the Coast Guard and you see the Navy flying the Coast Guard ensign, that's why. In this case, here's a photo of the 𝘚𝘰𝘭𝘢𝘤𝑦. You'll see the hull numbers. This is a Navy vessel, but it has Coast Guard hull numbers right there on the bow. Unmissable. So that's pretty neat. I didn't know that they would go so far as to paint the hull numbers on a Navy vessel. So I assume this was a permanent destroyer used for those purposes. Long enough that they would put hull numbers on it. So there's a submarine called S4, which is also running maneuvers in the same area. No one knew the other existed, unfortunately. Now, the story of the S4 is very sad. I might actually do a history shave on it. It's very, very sad. So I'm going to see, I can't remember exactly what I wrote here, but if it's too much info, I'm going to hold back on some of it because I really do want to do a history shave of this. It's very, very interesting. I didn't know it happened. So the S4 sub was surfacing when the ship rammed it into its starboard side. The S4 sank with all hands in 110 feet of water. There were initial survivors. I'll just leave it at that, okay? Horrible weather would prevent any hope or chance of rescue of these survivors for the time being. I won't say any more than that. Eventually the sub was raised. Okay, I probably just kind of gave it away with that, but in essence, all hands were lost. The way it sank, there was still buoyancy in the stern section of the sub. And there were 6 men that survived, and they were tapping out in Morse code to any potential people coming to save them. And the weather prevented them from being able to come back down for 15 days. Imagine that. It's horrible. So, I think I'll do a history shave on that. Oh, by the way, here's a picture of the S4 after it was raised in dry dock. And you can imagine what they found inside. But if memory serves, I might be wrong here. Because once I realized it could be a history shave in its own right, I just moved on because I'd get too deep into it. I believe it was repaired and reused, but I could be wrong. So, all right. Halfway through, this scent is really damn good. I'd say it's on the higher end of the medium strength scale, whatever. I don't have one. I know some do. That's why I don't, because I don't want to be a rip-off of like Rudd's or anyone else who does something similar. It's just more, it's medium. I'd give it a medium, but definitely on the higher end of the medium spectrum. It's very, very pleasant, very nice. And despite the bay rum, I could see myself using this in autumn, because that bergamot and the tobacco just add a really, really nice twist to it. I like it. Very nice. Speaking of nice, man, these maggoted nuts, these maggoted boar nuts are just mwah. That was a gun, I would have just shot myself in the shoulder. All right. All right. Good deal. So, you're going to have the bay rum throughout, followed by the bergamot. The bergamot's very prominent. And that tobacco just adds a nice bit of sweetness. And it's tobacco leaf, not blossom. So, sorry, just getting the area around the old windpipe. Don't want to talk. So the first lighthouse keeper of Wood End was a man named Thomas Lowe, L-O-W-E. He would remain as such for the next 25 years. His story is very interesting too, but I'm not going to go too much into that. See, history's amazing. I say that about everything. This is interesting, that's interesting, because it is. But 30 minutes per video is already pushing it big time. So, is what it is. A clockwork mechanism turned, at the time, a red lens which flashed every 15 seconds. It was visible for 11 nautical miles on a clear day, okay? So, there's the actual pyramid beacon with the bell on it. That's the day beacon. That's gone. I would have loved to have seen that. And behind it, if I remember correctly in the picture, is the lighthouse. That's still there. So that day beacon's pretty cool. So during the day, during high visibility, you'd be able to see it. During fog, you'd have the bell. Okay? The interesting thing about the 11 nautical miles is the fact that the horizon is visible for 10. And there's nothing like being out in the open ocean where you can see to the horizon, and you'll be sitting there with binoculars as a lookout, and all of a sudden you see something coming up. It looks like it's rising up out of the ocean, and you're like, what is that? And it's the mast of a ship coming over the curvature of the earth. It's quite a sight to behold. It's really neat. So that's 10 nautical miles. 1 nautical mile is 2,000 yards. So for the fact that it's visible for 11 nautical miles means this thing is really damn bright, which means before you can even see where the land that it's coming from, as you're coming over the curvature, you can see light. So that's pretty neat. One interesting aspect about Lowe's job was that he would require the assistance of locals nearby to help with the ship's rescues, even waking them up in the middle of the night. And there was a life-saving station that was built near the light in 1892. There were two of them. There was one there and one near Long Point Light. Again, it's gone now, unfortunately. So they had a station to take people to during rescues. Philip R. Smith replaced Lowe in 1897. He remained until 1924. In 1937, the light required partial relief keepers, primarily only partial relief keepers. A man named James Hinckley Dobbins and his family technically could have moved into the keeper's house, but they had refused due to a huge rodent infestation that had occurred by then, because the house was getting old. In 1961, the Coast Guard automated the light. This happened to pretty much all the lights. All of them are automated now. The keeper's house and the storage shed were torn down and razed in that year, 61, 62. Solar panels were installed in 1981. Okay, Wood End Light was one of the first solar-powered lighthouses in the country. Okay, and there's a photo. This is the cover photo for this video. And this is me right up against the lighthouse. And the reason I picked this photo is clearly you can see right there the solar panels. So that railing was always black, but the actual light, the cylindrical part of the light itself, was originally brown. All of it's black now, as you can see. So today, only the lighthouse and the empty oil shed remain. This is what was cool about this. Aside from going up in the lighthouse, you could just smell the history. I love that smell, by the way. When we went into the oil house, you can smell the oil. It's still there. I was like, my kids were looking at me like, okay, it stinks in here. I'm like, no, you don't understand. That is the smell of lamp oil for a lighthouse that's still present in this shed. It was unbelievable. There's a photo I took. That arrow shows where the keeper's house had been, okay? So I wish I had known all this when we were there. I would have gone around and looked for, I'm not going to find artifacts. There's been storms and wind and everything else, but I would have at least gone out with a metal detector or something like that, which I probably would have gotten in trouble for anyways. But at the end of this video, again, I'm going to put up some photos I took. One of the there's photos from the view of the top, but there's also a Coast Guard box that controls the light and, the solar, that's where the energy from the solar energy goes and all that. Is this Coast Guard box. What else? There's a photo of the window. You can see the rust coming off the bars from the window. Good photos, really neat stuff. So let me go ahead and rinse this off. I'll be right back. All right. Man, that was good. So I'd say this grail, or chalice, shaving chalice, I should say, was a success. Look at that. Worked very well. Got some compliments on it already. It's pretty neat. I like it. It fits in the hand. I was just sitting there holding it like this, lathering up. I like it. I'm going to use it more often. Just a curiosity, because there's that 𝘚𝘰𝘭𝘢𝘤𝘦, I don't know how to say it. I know I'm saying it horribly, excuse me. They have the shaving grail that I want. The sucker's like 90 bucks though, that's why I haven't gotten it. That's what gave me the idea. So I might grab more. Anywho, if you haven't tried Night Watch soaps, their base is very nice. I know their latest one is the Katana base. I don't know if that's what this one is. I don't think it is. I don't remember what it was called though. Thomas just did that collaboration with the razor company for that orange soda soap, which I actually do want now. That's good. So I'm wrong. This isn't alcohol. This is witch hazel. Whoopsie. Right at the beginning of the video, I said this is alcohol. It's not. Whoops. I should have checked that. That's on me. Oh well. I'll put that in the description that I was wrong. Or no, you know what? I'll do editing. Oh well. Really good. Still get a lot of bergamot, and you get a little bit more of the tobacco in this. Oh, that's really good stuff. Very yummy. So the head lighthouse keepers, I'm going to make sure to say this, of the history of the lighthouse was Thomas Lowe from 1872 to 1897, Philip Smith from 1897 to 1924, a man named Douglas Shepard from 1924 to at least 1940. It's a little hazy on when, you know, we kind of had a war going on. And then a man named Clarence Allison was the last one. He started in at least 1950, and then I could not find any record of when he stopped. I would assume it was when it was automated in 61. So, yeah, very cool. Oh, so I got pictures of the door. You can see where they had blocked the door off of the lighthouse and people had busted in. That's the only reason I went in. I would never have broken the door in to go in. And I was just like, you know, my kids were dumbfounded. Like, I can't believe you're going in here. We're going to get in trouble. I was like, no, I will get in trouble. And just in retrospect, you know, if the Coast Guard or someone had seen me, I could say, oh, it's okay. I used to be a coastie. And if it were me, I'd reply with, well, then you damn well definitely know better then. So, we didn't do anything. You can see there's a little bit of vandalism where people had broken windows and stuff, which was a shame. But we, you know, we just enjoyed and marveled. I was trying to drill the appreciation of the history of the place to my kids, even though I didn't know what the place was. I just knew it was old. Didn't know it was going on 150 years old. But, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do the balm and we'll call it good. Thank you, everybody, for watching this. I appreciate it if you're returning. If you're new, I do videos like this. They've fallen by the wayside a little bit unintentionally. I just had a lot going on, but I try to do these at least once a week, every Thursday, and then I try to do a basically a shave and chat. I call them Monday monologue, or I'll do a Tuesday reviews day if I miss that. One or the other. So I'll try to do these twice a week. I'm going to try to get back into that, even though I have another baby coming October. But we'll see. Thank you, everyone, for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I know these are long. I do a lot of research on these. I haven't shown this in a while, but I mean, I go and I sit down. I research it. I pick through stuff that I find irrelevant, that, you know, and versus stuff that I want to mention in the video. I go and I look for pictures. So it is a lot of work. Thank y'all. Really, I keep doing it for you guys, to be honest. So that'll do it, everyone. Really great shave. Night Watch Soap Co. I have a handful of their stuff. I do want to get their orange soda one, Fanta. It's one of my favorite drinks, is Sunkist and Fanta orange soda. My 13-year-old loves it. That's really why I want to get it, because I think you get a kick out of that. Other than that, I got your 6. Great one. Bon Natal is the Christmas one he just came out with last year. Oh my gosh, it's Christmas in a jar, man. Really good stuff. Maybe he'll re-release it. We'll see. But check him out. nightwatchsoapco.com. Yep. Give him a look-see. Good stuff for your money. So y'all take care. Thank you very much for watching this. And as always, happy shaving. Take care of one another. See you next time.